Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Niagara Icedogs forward Juan Copeland. Juan, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How have you been doing recently?
I'd say it's a tough stretch. We haven't been winning too many games, but it's definitely a learning curve moment for us. But I think it's a good moment for us to realize don't take things just so little and be better, be focused, right? So
You guys are coming off 3-3. Obviously a tough weekend there. How important is the rest coming off a stretch like that?
yeah, I think your day off is one of the biggest parts. Not doing too much laying around, just whatever you got to do. Play video games, watch TV, just rest, sleep, eat, get your fluids in ya. And I'd say stretch is a big part of it, as it's a long season, 68 games plus if you make playoffs.
Are you a big video game guy or no?
I am, yeah, I am. Me and a lot of my teammates, we're into Fortnite and NHL, so we play a lot of those.
I assume you guys have like a whole like shell team going, right, for ESHL?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's great. It's nice to keep that competitive edge going.
Oh yeah, always. Never dull moment.
So who's the goalie then?
We don't play goalie. We're those guys that you go out there and they have a goalie and we don't have a goalie, so they get all fired up because we're just
Nice.
using the cheeky goals on them and stuff. So
are you guys more of a threes team or sixes, or what are we saying there?
I'd say threes. Yeah, threes.
And who's in between?
I don't know. It depends kind of on the day, right? But definitely teammates versus teammates is a good one because we get all excited and fired up and take it serious. So
That's great. It's good because it builds the camaraderie off the ice, right?
yeah, exactly. It keeps you together off and on the ice, right? So
The next game for you guys is up against the Bulldogs. Do you guys have really any game plan for that, or what's your kind of thoughts entering that game?
Obviously it's a rivalry game, so it's gonna be high intensity, very, very physical, a lot going on. But I think that this week in practice will be a big focus for us on the little things and focusing on certain things that we can learn to obviously compete or beat that team. So
How important is it to, I guess, kind of take their confidence away? I mean, the playoffs are, for you guys is not in question. So going into that game, is there any kind of like confidence of taking points away from the Bulldogs?
I think the biggest thing is just going out there and playing physical and, gonna let them know that no matter what goes on, we're still here to play and we're going to give you a game and you're going to have to fight for that win.
Getting into your story here and a bit of who you are, was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
I'd say growing up, so being from Michigan, I was my hockey league that I was in. We always played in Chicago, so I went to a lot of Hawks games. So I was a big fan of Taze and Patrick Kane growing up. So I'd
Do you
like
like
to
to?
say
Sorry,
again.
I was just gonna ask, like, do you like to
Yeah.
Emily? Yeah, do you have any of the similar styles?
I'd say like a lot of my routes in game that I take are a lot like styled of Patrick Kane, like the areas that he's in. But I'd like to say I'm more of a player like Taze.
How was your Selly game? Is it more like Kane?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love that. Who influenced you to get into hockey?
So it's funny because my grandfather, he was a really good baseball player. He went to the Detroit Tigers training camp for being a pitcher, and my great grandfather, he played for the Cubs for a bit. So those were two big baseball guys, but my dad and his brothers were hockey players, so I'd say probably my dad and my uncles.
It's funny how you mentioned that, your great grandfather and your grandfather played for Detroit and Chicago. You mentioned that the
Yeah.
team that you played for in hockey, you went to a lot of Hawks games. Funny that there's
Yeah.
that relation there.
Yeah. It's funny because so actually my grandpa was born in Chicago, both of them. So they grew up in the Chicago area and they moved to Michigan. So once they got a little bit older, so
So then did you play any spring ball after hockey season ended?
no, actually I never played any baseball. I played lacrosse and a little bit of football, but it was mainly hockey and lacrosse.
Growing up in Michigan, were you a Red Wings fan or did you have any allegiance for the Hawks?
Um I've grown up a Hawks fan going to Chicago so much and
Yeah.
seen them play a lot. I do like the Wings. I think they're coming together, but it's not my favorite team and it's not the team I root for. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just the answer I was looking for. Cause, and like, do you have any other kind of Detroit, since you're from that area, like, are you a fan of their other sports teams or no?
To be honest with you, we haven't been too great. So
Yeah,
not really.
it's hard
So
to
it's
become
like
a fan of that.
yeah. So it's kind of hard to watch, right? So it's like a lot of other teams have become my favorite or becoming. So
Were you ever in Chicago for any of their parades or no?
so we played in the HPHL. So we were there for I think when Kane the Blackhawks team won their first Stanley Cup when Kane won his first one with Taves and like Sharp and stuff like that. We were there. Um we actually played the day before and went to the parade that next day. So yeah.
What was that atmosphere like? Because I've never seen a Stanley Cup parade.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was cool. Like everybody was there. It's cool seeing how many people come out to support one team, right? Like even if they're not at the games, it's crazy. It was wild. It was awesome. The big speeches. And it's funny because Sharp's I believe his nephew, I played against him, right?
Oh wow.
So yeah, Zach Sharp. So I played against him growing up, so it was cool like playing against his nephew, right? It was something different, so that was awesome.
Playing against the nephew of a Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
Like that's sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. I actually I have a picture way back, I think 4 or 5 years ago. He did a puck drop at one of the games and it was him and Zach Sharp at the drop and I was on it. So
That's sick. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
And to your point, like it's really weird seeing how packed it gets for one
Yeah.
team, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like you go to a game, right? And they're like, I mean, they have a lot of fans, right? But then you go outside and you don't realize how many fans there really are until something like that happens. So,
You played with Honey Baked before getting drafted to the OHL. How did that team help with their development?
yeah. So obviously, it's a really good organization. Really good players come out of it. Patrick Kane played there. A lot of good development team guys, a lot of NHL players now. But I think the biggest thing was my last year, my minor midget year. It was ran like a junior hockey team. We won nationals that year, so it just shows you how disciplined and how much it was ran like a true kind of pro atmosphere.
On top of the names you mentioned, I mean, more recently, fans may remember Trey Augustine. You had him as a
Yeah.
teammate,
Yeah.
played on Team USA for the World Juniors. Do you kind of still keep in contact with him?
Him and I mean, yeah, we talk a little bit here and there. We don't text too much, but when I see him in summer and stuff, we talk a bit. But I'd say I definitely talk. I don't know if you know, but Zach Schultz on the development team. He's a really good buddy of mine, close to me. So I talk to him a lot. There's a few other guys that I still talk to consistently that are playing United States League and North American League. So it's cool to keep those bonds forever, right? So.
Now, when Canada played with USA in the recent World Juniors, what side were you on?
Team USA for sure.
Really?
For sure, yeah.
Not even Niagara could sway you to cheer for Canada? Oh,
No.
wow.
Well, the biggest thing
Wow.
is I know a lot of guys on that USA team, right? I know Cutter Goche, I know guys like that. So it was kind of more of a friend type thing, right? I was more
Yeah.
of cheering for my friends to get a medal than I was anything else.
Were you out watching the game with some teammates at a bar, or what was that night like?
No, I was at a buddy's house. We were watching it. Few teammates were over, but we just watched it in a basement, watched it together, obviously cheering for USA, but didn't get the outcome. So I got chirped for a little bit
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
100%.
But
100%.
yeah,
You're
but
probably
no,
the only one that cheered for Team USA.
yeah. Well, very few guys. So yeah.
You got drafted by Niagara in the second round of the
Yeah.
2021 OHL draft. What do you remember from that day?
Yeah, so I knew I was going to Niagara. Being American, right? They do it differently than a Canadian player, right?
Mhm.
They kind of want to know if you're for sure going to come because that's a high draft pick. So I knew I was going to Niagara, but obviously it's nervous, right? Because if something falls through, you never know. So I actually had a draft party. I had all my family over. I had a bunch of friends, whatnot, and so we're going through the first round, and so it's starting to get a little nerve wracking, right? I'm getting a little sweaty, like here and there, right? And so then I was actually the second pick of the second round because Niagara didn't have a first round pick that year. And so when they picked my name, obviously excited, happy, and all my family and friends were just really excited and really happy for me.
Thankfully, the GM did not mess up your draft party.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I would have
That
been
would have
so
been
upset.
scary.
Yeah, I was nervous. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you're fine. Like you're good. Like you're gonna be good. Like they're gonna pick you, whatever, whatever." And I'm just like, it's always like, what if they don't though, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so I was really happy to get drafted and I was excited. It was probably one of the best days of my life. So
In your rookie season, 22 points in 58 games, but how long did it take for you to find a rhythm, whether it was day to day or on the ice?
yeah, so I'd say so it's funny because me and three other rookies, our first game scored.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was yeah, so we were in Barrie. It was me, Panel, Femus, Aiden Castle, and then Daniil Gushchin, who technically was a rookie, but he isn't. We all scored our first goal, so it's kind of like, oh, this is gonna be a little easy, right? And then we play Oshawa OT winner. I'm like, wow, this is gonna be really easy. Like this league's easy. And then I kind of went through a slump until about Christmas time, and I kind of realized like things got to change if I want to be successful. And so then I developed my game. I watched what I had to do. I did what I had to do, and I think in the second half of the season I got injured with a concussion. I took the puck to the head, so I was out for 10, 15 games. And then I played the last like 15, 20 games, and I think I had like 18 points in 15 games with getting opportunity and realizing and changing how I needed to play.
So with the concussion, did you ever like have any, I guess, worries about a setback?
Um, it was always tough, right? Being 16 years old in the league, not knowing if you're gonna play, right?
Yeah.
So it was a little nerve-wracking, I knew, but I knew at the end of the day, if I want to be in the lineup, I'm gonna have to play just like everybody else, right? So I kind of used it as a little bit of motivation to work harder, and it obviously helped.
What was your biggest takeaway from your rookie season?
Um, don't don't take things for granted and work hard. Just simply do the little things right because those little things are going to lead into bigger chances, bigger opportunity, and trust. And that's honestly what this league's all about. I feel like is opportunity and trust. And if you get all the opportunity and trust, and you're going to produce with the right guys and the right teammates.
Going into the season, was that more of what you just said, like just trying to gain that trust?
Yeah. So obviously new staffing, new everything. It was that's all it was about was working hard and gaining trust. It's been tough, obviously, as we're not having a winning season right now, but it's also one of those things that shows you like how hard you really got to work compared to other teams.
The front office of the Ice Dogs was quite active in moving players. Did that affect the locker room chemistry at all?
Yeah, I'd say it was kind of tough on a lot of us, right? Because playing your 16-year-old year with guys and coming back next year and half your team traded, it's like it's pretty much like going to a new minor hockey team every year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
different, it's hard. And then 1 week later, then they're traded out again and a new player comes in. So it's hard to build a connection and a relationship with someone when they're just coming in, right? Where back my 16-year-old year, I had that whole year and then they're gone, right? So it's hard to build a really good relationship and I don't know, however long the second half of the season is, 4 or 5 months. So
Do you ever, or did you ever have the feeling that you might be moved because of how much player movement there was?
yeah, so that was a big nervous thing for me is, I love the Niagara region. I love the team. I love the guys on the team. But at the end of the day, it's like you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they didn't move me, so that was a good
Thankfully,
thing.
right?
Yeah, that was a good thing, but it was something in the back of my mind. So
And do you ever think that kind of affected your play at all? Or like, how did you make sure that was at the very, 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 very back of your
yeah,
mind?
yeah. Well, I think that's a tough thing, right? When everybody else is getting traded, guys you don't think are gonna get traded and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Guys that you thought like they needed are getting traded out. Like then like it's kind of tough to go out there and compete and play hard because you don't know if you're next or when or what's going on. And you hear things from media or news and all this stuff, or even teammates that you could possibly be getting traded, this and that. And it's tough to want to go out there every single day and want to work hard for a team that doesn't want you, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's hard, but at the end of the day, while you're still there, you got to work hard and compete every single day. And you're not traded till you're traded, right? So
Well, the team is very young. We know that. And you
mhm.
guys are going into the home stretch of the season. What's the message being sent into the locker room right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is work hard, keep competing, and make plays, be a little confident. Obviously, not a year that we wanted, but it's also a development year and a year that we've learned a lot in, and we need to keep and continue to learn and work hard.
One of the fun things about the OHL is the hosting of the Teddy Bear Toss games. Have you played
Yeah.
in any?
Yeah, so I played in both of mine last year and this year. Funny because I was on the ice for both goals, but
Oh
I'd
God.
never, yeah, I was on for both goals. So it was cool. It's awesome because, there's so many coming down. Like you can barely
Yeah.
skate, right?
Thousands.
Like as you're skating to the line to go like give your teammates fist bumps and stuff, like you're moving teddy bears out of your way so you can skate and stuff, right?
You just
So
got to
it's
make sure you don't get hit as
yeah,
well.
yeah. You got to make sure they don't throw the big ones and hit you, or like the ones that are hitting the ice. You got to move out of the way so you don't step on them and fall and stuff. So, but it's awesome. It's a cool game and it's for a good cause, right? So it's awesome.
Have you scored any of the Teddy Bear Toss goals?
Nope, I have not.
Got to add that to your career.
Yeah, I gotta
Looking
try.
for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're always looking for it, right? But it's awesome seeing another guy score it, right? Like last
Mhm.
year was our overager, Dakota Betts. So that was awesome to see him score in his overage year. I mean, that was obviously something special for him, and obviously seeing other players do it. And this year was our rookie Kevin He, so it was cool even seeing a rookie score. So it's awesome and good for those guys.
Why do you wear number 47?
So I grew up wearing 77, because my dad, and then funny thing happened was the year McDavid was drafted into the OHL, um, or exceptional status, whatever. I was actually leaving CompuWare to go to Honey Baked, and I picked
Yeah.
number 97, not knowing he was 97. So I wore 97 till my minor midget year, got drafted to the OHL. Well, obviously I'm not wearing 97 in the OHL. That's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
that's like wearing 90.
Sacrilege.
Yeah. And then 77 was taken by Dakota Betts. And so I went in 47. I have four other members besides me and my family. And then I keep the 7 for good luck. So
Well, there you go. Right.
yeah, yeah.
What is your typical game day routine?
So wake up in the morning around 9 a.m. or so, go to the arena, morning skate 10 to 11-ish, come back here. I'll have a lunch, I'll take my nap, like 2, 3 hour pregame
Big
nap.
pregame nap
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Huge pregame nap guy. I take naps every day actually. Um, and then pregame meal, chicken, rice, and vegetables. Go get a coffee, go to the arena and stretch, tape my stick, whatnot, and then play a lot of sewer.
Oh, I was about to ask. I was
Yeah,
waiting for it. A lot of teams love
yeah.
sewer.
Yeah, I'm a big sewer guy. Love it. It's awesome. Fun. So, and then game.
When the game's on, like who do you believe is the hardest player to defend and why?
So obviously I'd say I've played against a lot of great players, right?
Yeah.
So last year, the toughest player for me to it's funny I say this is probably Avery Hayes from Michigan. I actually trained with him in summer. Um he's the one of the toughest guys to just play defense against. He's small, skilled, shifty, but he's also physical.
Yeah,
So
he
he's hard to
is.
play against. And then I'd say McTavish was a hard one to play against. He's like the
He's a
guy
full-on man.
like that guy, like you'd hit him and he like wouldn't move, and he'd like the guy would like skate around you, and like you don't like as big as he is, you don't realize how fast he it really is, right?
Yeah.
And so like you're chasing that guy down on the back check and you just feel like you're never going to get to him, or even in zone, the guy doesn't stop moving. Like he never stops moving. So it's like, it's so hard to defend.
Last year, he was just a man against boys. Like, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wild.
exactly. Exactly. He was unbelievable. He was so hard to play against. Same with him, and I'd say Hayes, like he's so skilled, unbelievably skilled, and really good hockey player. Obviously 40 goal scorer 2 years
Yeah.
in a row. So like what can you do, right?
His stats speak for himself, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What is your favorite OHL arena to travel to?
Yeah, so um I'll actually give the one arena I can't stand playing in, and this was
Sure.
my first ever preseason game. So we were at the Odd in Kitchener, and
Really?
I remember I got a penalty and I go in the box, right? And I have a fan throw a beer and popcorn at me over the glass. Well,
Wow.
ever since then, I've hated it there. I get chirped there so bad. I've I got in a fight there and I got beat up there. I've just had bad luck there.
The fans
Um,
owe your number, dude. They own
yeah,
your
yeah,
number.
yeah. They own me there. I feel like it'd be different. I feel like it'd be different playing for Kitchener there. I think it'd be awesome, but playing against it, it's terrible. I hate it there. And I'd say the best arena I've traveled to that I had the most fun was definitely the
Okay.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in London. It was crazy. So many, like I think they sold out the night we were there, like 13,000 fans. Went to overtime, so it was electric. Like it was awesome.
Well, I think the two arenas there, like, pack the
Yeah.
barn. Like, those are
Oh
the
yeah.
two teams that pack the barn on a
Yeah.
consistent night.
Yeah, and the thing is like the Bud, like their fans are crazy, but they're not like they're good crazy.
They're
Like, and I feel
respectful
like
crazy. They're not
yeah,
throwing
yeah,
beer and
yeah,
popcorn at you
yeah,
in the sin
yeah.
bin.
In Kitchener, they're flipping you off as you shoot by them. They're just giving it to you, right? As I like
Wow.
after my one fight, they were bringing me the ref was bringing me to the locker room. They're just giving it to me and stuff, and I'm just like, it's so hard not to laugh at that moment, right? It's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well, this is what you remember from your junior career.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As we're closing off this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
Yeah, I'd say play just simply play the right way and make simple plays. Obviously, there's time and a place to play heavy and skilled, but if you do the right things, work hard and consistently keep working hard, stay in the gym, keep doing the right things, success is going to go your way. You're going to go through tough years, you're going to go through tough spots, you're going to not score goals, you're not going to put up points for a long time, but at the end of the day, people see that you're working hard and playing good, and it doesn't matter, and to keep just continuing to go in the right route.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank again Juan Copeland for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Juan.
Thank you so much.